Jaká je hlavinenka krásná. OK. Let's go. Let's speak English. Let's practice English. Okay. And now we can start. Okay. Short movements. Very close to each other. Velmi blízko seba, jo. Kratučké ťahy. Short movements, very close to each other. We want to put a lot of color here to the tail because we want to have our tail the darkest one. Also with the bottom line. Chceme mať ten koneček najtmavší s tým spodkom línie. So we want to put a lot of color inside. Okay. Okay. Very close to each other, very close to each other. We'll still want to put a lot of color over here. Okay. This is our color. We are using Etalon number 5 and also yellow corrector. We are working with this needle, Quadron 035, 1 round liner long taper, and I use a rocket machine. Okay, let's go. Okay, we will check. We can see color beautifully. See the difference? Vidíš rozdíl? I will clean my cartridge a little bit. Okay. Now let's continue. Okay. We are working with hybrid pigments. That means then these pigments are organic and inorganic mixed together, and they are much stronger than mineral pigments. I love mineral pigments, I love hybrid pigments, but you have to know what kind of pigments to use and for who. So let's continue here. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay. Really carefully moving up. We are still in the spot where we want a lot of pigment. Okay. Always check your color. And let's continue. Okay. From the bottom line. Going up, up, up. Consistency is the key. You have to be consistent when you're working with the machine in order to implant the pigment evenly into the skin. Okay, we can move a little bit. And we are going to do exactly the same. We want to put a lot of color over here and to the tail, and top is only really soft. Okay. And now when you're going up, you want to do your movements a little bit far away from each other. See? Stretch, proper stretch. And we continue. Place your movements next to each other properly, don't rush. You have to implant the pigment evenly, so you cannot rush. Okay, let's clean, let's check. And we can see color beautifully. What I like to do, I like to check also from this side. And here we can see that we can clean a little bit more. Okay. Clean properly. Even from this side over here. Yeah, now we can see it beautifully. Perfect. We are going to move more to the front. We want to put a little bit more color to the bottom line because it's still soft. All right. And now we can go from this part we will do a fan and go on top. Same. From this part, fan, and to the top. From this part, fan, and to the top. Same here. And we will do front part together. So you stretch properly. Go from bottom line. And clean to see. I need to bring my green soap. My assistant put some water on a little water. Oh, it's here. I got it. Okay. Okay. And let's go. Okay, we can see it beautifully, like this. Same here. Clean properly. And we can continue. I am working on my first pass, but my first pass is not done yet. Right, Stretch properly. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And let's make this part darker. If we want to have a beautiful gradient and beautiful ombre brows, we really need to put a lot of color to your bottom line and just a little bit of color to the front and top part. This part for me and this brow for me on this client is a little bit harder to tattoo because this brow is a little bit more down and it's a little bit more on the bone. And if you are working on a bone, it's hard. You have to stretch it properly and I like to push it more up. If you are working on the bones, try to push it more up because otherwise you can go too deep and it's hard to keep the angle 90 degrees. Widzisz, tady to potrebuješ hodně nastretchovat a je to velmi ťažko. It's hard to stretch it. But when you are in the front, your movements should be a little bit far away from each other for you to be able to create a soft fronts. Okay, so let's clean. Color is beautiful. It will look so nice. Okay. I am using just basic green soap. This one is the pink soap, but it's the same, exactly the same. And sometimes I like to put rosa cream on the brows. It can hydrate your brows and it's nice for the skin. But for now I can see it's okay like this, and we don't really have to use it now. But we have to really work on this part of the brow a little bit more. So we can see when we are working on ombre brows, we have to have this part really dense. We want to have dense bottom line, dense tail, and dense body. And your top and front should be really soft. And you do it like this. When you're working on a tail, you really have to put your movements close to each other and put a lot of color. But really important thing, you cannot press a lot. Your pressure has to be really light. Yeah, so like this, a lot of color. A lot of color. Moving, my bottom line has to be really dense. So always a lot of color. I am doing fan movement like here. See my movement? See my hand? And to the top, really soft, and my movements are far away from each other. Clean, check. Beautiful. It looks so beautiful. Okay, let's continue. We see that we have a soft part over here. We have to make it much more darker. So, from the outline, very close. Your movements very close to each other. We move a little bit and we do the same. Very close to each other. We take the pigment and we move to the front. Push more up from the bone. Very close to each other. We want to have more density over here at the bottom line. Stretch. And let's go over here. When you're working on a brows, never rush. Take your time, because only this way you can create beautiful pigmentation. If you're in a rush, you can see it because you can see your result. You will not be satisfied and happy with the work. I always take my time and I always try to make it perfect. Even though skin doesn't have to be perfect, or my client can bleed, skin can put a lot of plasma out of the skin, you never know. But try to do your best in each of these cases, because you can see then on your procedure, on your correction, where you made the mistakes. So again, we have to put more color to the bottom. We are working with quadro needle 035, one round liner, long taper. 035, this is the diameter of the needle. 1, that means there is one needle. RL is a configuration of the needles. If you have a one needle, it doesn't matter, but if you have like 6, 8, 10 needles, it matters because you can have round liner, needles are close to each other. Round shader, it's like needles are a little bit far away from each other. Then we have flat, that means that needles are like this in a row. Then we have magnum, that means that needles are close to each other like this. And we have also slope, needles are like this. It's the same as magnum, but the other row is a little bit more down. And then the last is taper. It's what kind of tapers your needle have. And we can have long taper, short taper, medium taper, point taper, ultra short taper. There is a lot of tapers, but I mostly prefer long taper and medium taper. We recorded a video about needles yesterday, so it will be up on YouTube in the next few weeks. But next week I will have a new video about the correction procedure with my client. You will see her beautiful healed brows, and then you will see how I do a correction. So stay tuned for next week. I think it will go out tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Tuesday. So let's come back. We have to put more color over here. Okay, we see. And soft movements far away, one of each other, one from each other. See the difference? And now our fan to the top. And over here again. Soft, 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 soft. And we will clean. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. More color over here. We really have to play with the brow. It takes time, but you cannot rush, really. Don't rush, enjoy. Soft, 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 soft. So, let's leave these brows like this. Let's clean them properly and let's put anesthetic. And I can show you how the brows looks with the anesthetic. And I can also show you how to measure them again. And then I will continue. Okay, clean properly. Okay. Okay, so okay, I already put anesthetic there. So this is my anesthetic. and here. But I think I will need a little bit more. Takhle je to lepší. So we have anesthetic here. And we just take it and put it here. And you will see your anesthetic is closing your blood vessels. So you will see that the brow is darker, browny. It looks more brown. It's not so reddish, and also the skin will be white. There will be no circulation of the blood on top. Here you can see beautiful result. You can already see how it's becoming whiter and whiter. All right. So let's put foil. Okay.
Jo.
Okay, disinfection, and let's continue for a little bit more. Okay, we see. Clean. We will clean anesthetic. We will clean another part of the brow over here. Another brow. And I can show you how I measure brows. So, we need to find the bottom part, top part, and our arch. Then we need to find the middle, where we start with the brows. And then I like to make it a little bit more like this, and here like that. Now we do exactly the same over here, here, and like this. Uvolníte? Tak. Uvolnite. If your client is not relaxed, this part over here will not be straight. Your client has to be really straight and relaxed. Okay. This is what I need for now, and now I will work more over here and over here. Okay. Stretch properly. And now I can show you how to work on top. So you go and do only movement, for example, towards yourself, if it works for you. And do your movements far away from each other to create this powdery effect. Okay, over here, see? Again. Like this. Again. It will be really soft on top. It will be the most beautiful gradient. Or you can do even back and forth. Sometimes it's more comfortable for me to do only towards myself, but sometimes back and forth. Okay, like this. Here we need a little bit more color, so our movement is completely different. But now I am moving to the fun. And same, let's finish here. We can clean and check. We need to give time to the pigment because the pigment will be a little bit more visible after some time. That's why you have to be really careful from the beginning, because you always think, oh, there is not enough color, there is not enough color. And then after 1 hour, when you are finishing with your brows, you realize that there is already a lot of color over here. Now we can stretch or stretch from here and check it properly. And we see that our saturation is beautiful over here, but we have to stay here and work more over here and more over here, because when you stretch, you see that here is a little spot where is missing color. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna finish now and see you in the next live stream. Bye, and thank you for watching.